Good afternoon to all of you. I hope I am audible properly. So today is going to be the first live session for Anthropology Enrichment Cum Test Series 2026. And in today's lecture, we are going to complete the Socio-cultural anthropology, and that too in terms of a different way. Like we are basically going to focus upon the value enrichment part. Here I am not going to provide you the static knowledge, because for that you know already the static knowledge and various static related things are already available. Here I am today going to provide you the things that would help you to retain the syllabus, as well as to ensure that this is something which is related to the value addition. Okay, do you have any query or any doubt? You can ask me. Okay, Samiksha. So in the description box you will find out there is number available. Just call me there. I would be available. Okay, the team is going to connect through that number. Fine. And today itself you will be getting the sheet. After the session I will be sharing the notes, and then you will get the sheet. Okay, this session is basically open for all, and in this session I will be providing you this annotated PDF, and this annotated PDF you will get from the Sunya IAS Anthropology Telegram channel. Okay, fine. Now let me explain you the way how we are going to do. First, we are going to just analyze the syllabus for the socio-cultural anthropology, and once we are done with that, we are going to basically do unit wise. I am here going to provide you extra things, extra value enriched part, and then tomorrow all those students who are basically enrolled, I am going to connect you through the call. That's going to be your mentorship call, and through that I'm going to share the sheet as well as the basic preparation strategy as per your approach. Fine, so don't worry for the same. Okay, before that, if you are having any sort of doubt, so you can ask. Now let's start. Because we are starting with the socio-cultural anthropology, here you can see I basically provided you the years, like from the year 2025 till the year 2020, all the questions being asked by the UPSC related to this part. You know already, UPSC in the optional paper giving us the choice. They are basically providing us 28 questions, and out of 28 questions we are supposed to attempt the 19 questions. Now out of those 19 questions, quite possible you are attempting the most of the question of social culture or not, but out of those 28 questions in the year 2025, 12 questions being asked by the UPSC from social culture part. So that's how you can understand this part is very much important. 2024 11, 23 11, 2022 12, 2021 14 and 2028. UPSC, as they are having the discretion, the veto power, that they can change the number, they can ask more or less, but on an average, safer side would be that we are having that much grip over the social culture and anthropology that we can get the marks, like we can expect the question between 10 to 16. Fine, this is what we can expect. Now let's start. First, analyze the syllabus. So when we are analyzing the syllabus, we will be finding out first unit is the unit 1.1. The unit 1.1 is talking about the meaning, scope and development of anthropology. See, I am going to provide you this annotated PDF, but I would ask you write with me. Okay, so write with me, have A4 size sheet and then write with me, because that's how it would help us in our further sheets also, where I'm going to provide you the indexes that would help us for the revision, and that's how when you will revise, you are going to highlight the point where you are weak. And as I told you through the mentorship call, you need to tell me that ma'am, I pointed out like 20 topics or 10 topics, and then we are going to discuss it through the call. Fine. So this is the basic plan. Let me again repeat. Now you need to prepare the notes along with me, A4 size paper. I would ask you what to write, what not to write. Okay. So randomly do not write everything. Fine. First thing. Second, I will be helping you to prepare the indexes, and I would ask you to note down the indexes along with me, and then from the indexes go through the complete syllabus and then point it out which topics where you are lacking. And tomorrow when we are going to have the mentorship call, you just need to tell me, ma'am, these are the topic from socio-culture where I am lacking. That's how I would help you out for static part. For the current affair integration for value enrichment, I am dealing with the today's lecture, and the PDF I will be providing on Telegram channel. Okay. So unit 1.1, we know it is related to the meaning, development and scope of anthropology. Second part, unit 1.2. 1.2 is telling us the relationship between the different other types of studies. So relationship with other branches of other syllabus. Unit 1.3. So unit 1.3 is telling us about the scope of the anthropology. Although here we are talking about the scope, but here in this part we are going to talk about the 4 main branches of anthropology. Then there is 5 unit of unit 2.1. So unit 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. So unit 2.1 is related to the culture. Then this is related to the society, marriage, family and kinship. Then there is unit 3, which is related to economic anthropology. Then we are having the unit 4, political anthropology. Unit 5, religion. Unit 6, anthropological theories. Unit 7, which is related to the culture, language and communication. So here I am writing language and communication. And we are having unit 8, that is related to the research method. This is the whole syllabus of anthropology, and I hope you are all aware of it. We need to create a strategy. That's how we can ensure that which one is the most controlled part, which one is the most strong or weak part, which is the part which is not in your control. So like that, okay? Fine. So in terms of the value addition, we are basically starting with the unit 2.1. Unit 2.1, which is basically related to the culture. So first we are going to focus upon, because if this unit is done, major chunk of the unit 6 is also done, major chunk of the unit 7 is also done, and unit 6, you know, anthropological theories, that is possessing greatest value. Fine. Okay. So now first thing first, we are basically going to prepare the index for the same. Index means what? Index is something that would help us to do the revision. Now, there are 2 methods for revision. One called as the familiar method and one which is called as the active recalling method. You need to prepare the indexes because at the time of your mains, you need to have something handy in your hand so that your revision would be faster. And it should be like that you are doing a major chunk while when your books are not in front of you, and you remember the things, and then you are trying to memorize them again and again with the help of this index only. Okay, now this is how we need to comprehensively again go back, and this is how we need to mention on this page only that for this part we are having this example, for this part we are not having this example, for this part I need to remember this type of things. That's how it would help us for the revision. Now, the syllabus for the unit 2.1 as given by the UPSC is this: the nature of culture, the concept and characteristics of culture and civilization, ethnocentrism and culture relativism. This is what given by the UPSC. So, while looking over these part, we can divide the unit 2.1 into 4 parts. So, let's first divide it into 4 parts as it is given in the syllabus. So, you don't need to add something from your side. Okay, this is going to be for complete page. So, frame it like that only. Okay, in the first part, we are going to complete culture. Second part, civilization. Third part, ethnocentrism. And the last part, cultural relativism. Okay, now let's try to complete related to this part. Fine. So, the first thing that we should have in our hand and we should know related to this unit for answer writing, this is very much important, and this is introduction. Okay, one kind of direction from my side: even if your writing is like to write big letters, try to write in a small font size, because we have to write so many of the things. Okay, Anji, having any doubt? No? Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is introduction. Now, what we can write down in the introduction? We are not supposed to write the meaning in the introduction. Here we are not writing the introduction, but in the introduction part, we should determine by ourselves that do we have introduction ready made for the culture. Hanji, how many of you are having the introduction that is ready made with you for culture? Hanji, just tell me. How many of you are having it? If I would ask you now, you are able to answer. Just tell me, how many of you? Hanji, no one is answering. Okay, Samiksha is saying that famous definition, ma'am. Again, Samiksha, I would say in the previous class, we are done with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 methods to start any introduction. So, definition 1 is related to the anthropologist. But what if you have to give a normal basic introduction? So, for that basic introduction, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 ready with us. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, those 4 types that should be ready with us. Okay, so for that, culture means what? It is nothing but it is a system of norms and behavior. This is what we need to do. After that, next part, meaning. Means you should know the basic meaning of the culture, and in the basic meaning of culture, we have to. Culture is the handiwork. I know you are again, Rohan, you are again mentioning about you are mentioning about the basic definition given by, like, not definition but a kind of a verdict or a quote given by one anthropologist. When I'm saying introduction, I'm talking about a simple thing. How would you introduce yourself? You would be telling me something about you. In the same way, how would you introduce the culture? You need to have something that if your mind is completely blank, but you are having some key points. Means culture is system of norms, culture is system of behavior. Because this is my behavior, and my behavior is because of my culture. Like for example, I'm a vegetarian person. Why? Because that's my culture. I hope you can understand. Fine. So if someone is having a certain type of clothing style, so that's their culture. Okay, fine. So then we need to determine the meaning. Now, I am not asking you to mention or prepare the notes to frame the meaning. It's going to be wastage of time. But what I'm saying is, your mind should be alert and in such a position that you are having somewhere written or somewhere highlighted that this is something I can use for meaning. And through this, you will again and again revise it. Let us suppose you are not opening your notes. You are just asking yourself, what is meaning of culture? If you are able to memorize it well and good, if not, then you will go back to that source. You are not supposed to write now. Okay? Okay, fine. So we are done with the meaning. Next, we need to do the definition part. So we would be writing here definition. Okay. In the culture part, now there is no limit of definitions. Even when after this I will show you the next slide. Now there also you will find out there is no such limit for the definitions. So we are we may be having around 9 definition of the culture. So these 9 definition of culture, like there are so many. What you need to do, you just need to extract the sources and need to find out that how many definition you have. Here basically I am telling you, you will get around 9 to 10. So here I am mentioning 9 definitions, 9 to 10 definitions. So you should have those 9 to 10 definition. But if someone would ask you which definition you would mention, so most of you would answer that, ma'am, we will be mentioning about the E.B. Taylor ka basic definition, and the E.B. Taylor, he mentioned about the primitive culture. So he was saying that in the primitive culture, culture means what? It means knowledge, belief, lifestyle, it means customs. Like it is a kind of a combination of all these things. Fine. So in the definition part, you will be mentioning 9 to 10 definition. You would be aware of all these. Why? Because you don't know. As per the question demand, you need to transform the definition. You cannot write the simple basic definition. Okay? I hope you are able to understand. Like for example, if the question is like that culture is based upon the needs of the people, or culture may turn as per the need of the people. So here in this part, you cannot mention the classical definition given by the E.B. Taylor. So it would be better if you are starting through the Malinowski ka definition. And in the Malinowski definition, you are mentioning about his book, A Scientific Theory of the Culture. And there you are mentioning about the psychological needs and biological needs. Fine, I hope you are getting my point. So here you will give this thing to your mind that I need to cut to short remember the E.B. Taylor ka definition. But you would be reading all other also, because as per the demand of the question you may require them. Okay, here in the definition I am writing here E.B. Taylor. Okay, after that you just need to write, like related to the culture, you need to write the feature of the culture, and the basic type of the culture. These basic type of the culture, they are given by the William Ogburn when he was talking about the cultural lag. So there he mentioned about that there are two type of culture, material culture and non-material culture. When we are talking about something that could be touched, when something that possess values in the normal term, so that's what we can do. See, this thing that you need to understand, we need to mention the common definitions. It is not something that you know something which is very rare and you are mentioning it. You should know that you need to make the work of the examiner easier. I hope you are understanding the same. Okay, so what I was saying, that we need to mention the type of the culture, material culture, non-material culture. There is another topic also, William Ogburn, cultural lag, so we can mention it there also. Here the next point that we are taking upon is feature of the culture. Now you should be able to determine that for feature, let us suppose in your notes you are having 5 features. So here you would mention that I am having 5 features. If you are not having 5 features, you will try to create. Okay, I hope you can now differentiate that. You will get to know your sources are sufficient or your sources are not sufficient, because at this point of time we cannot be in a dicey situation that if UPSC is asking something very difficult and if you are not able to determine it. Okay, fine. Next part that we need to do is the characteristics of the culture, and for characteristics of culture we are going to have so many of the points. Fine. So next part is going to be characteristics of culture. And for characteristics we are about to have 15 points. And in this point only we are going to talk about a value additional point also. Then when we are talking about characteristics of the culture, that is culture unique to human being. So that value addition part, that is different and we have to mention it differently. Culture unique to human being. Okay. And for this part, we again need to have different things. Here we need to mention the anthropologist also. Like for this part, we are going to mention about around 7 to 8 points, where we are going to mention about the Leslie White. So here in this part with the white color, like another thing, when you are preparing these indexes, now for these indexes you need to use colorful pen so that you can differentiate. Here I am using the color coding. You can also use the color coding of your own choice, but you need to use colored pen so that you can easily differentiate and your eyes can easily know about it. Another rule, this index should be neat and clean so that you can revise it again and again. Okay, fine. So culture unique to human being, there must be 4 to 5 points. And in this part we need to mention about Leslie White. Okay, once we are done with the characteristics, next part that we have to do is the attributes of the culture. Attributes of culture, they are also called as qualities of culture. Now for example, when you are saying ma'am qualities are and characteristics are they different? See, qualities means something like for example, when I'm saying a 12th class student, when I'm comparing the 12th class student, so all the 12th class students, they are the one who are going to be ready for the transition. They are in such a stage that their mind are very much active, and they are the one who used to be very much open for the changes. This is something, these are the characteristics, and we can find out these types of characteristics in each and every person who is passing out and who's basically passing out the 12th class. But there are some students who must be the God gifted. There are some students possess the more IQ and knowledge also. So every 12th class person would be having same characteristics, but their qualities may be different. So that's how culture, every single culture, they are having some characteristics. For example, one culture or cultural practice is not okay for you, but it is okay for the other culture. So that's how we can say. But qualities are something which are very unique to those culture. So next part is attributes and qualities of culture. Attributes and qualities of culture, approx you need to write down 6 points. But the most important point in this part is the super organic view of culture. When we are saying super organic view, it means our culture, they are taking the next step. It is basically spread to the other areas. So that's how we are going to have for attributes or qualities 6 points. Okay. Next part that we have to come up with the function of culture. So we should have some points for that, for the same. Then we should have the components or elements of the culture. Means culture means what? Culture means which is talking about the values. Culture means talking about the norms, about the custom. Culture talking about the language, because language is also the mirror of the culture. So the next part that we are going to have is functions and elements of culture. Okay. Next part that we are going to have is the culture pattern. I mean, culture pattern again is very much important, and in the culture pattern we have to mention different anthropologists. Like we have to mention the A.L. Kroeber, the Ruth Benedict, we have to mention the Ralph Linton, the Clyde Clockhorn. So these are the person that we have to mention. So the next part is going to be culture pattern. And here we are supposed to mention 5 anthropologists. So we have to mention the anthropologist. Okay. Now next part after this that we have to mention is extra points. Like there are some different points. Like we are going to talk about the contra culture. We are going to talk about the subculture. We have to explain about the other cultural process. So here we are mentioning one point umbrella term, that is culture process. And in the culture process, we are about to write about the transculturation, acculturation, enculturation, contra culture. So, all these points. Fine. So, this is basically part of the culture process, where we also need to mention about the different processes of the acculturation. Like there are 4 stages process for acculturation, where we included the assimilation, the marginalization, the mutation. So all these things that we have to mention. Okay. So this is what we need to do. Now talking about the value addition part. So in the value addition part, we are going to talk about the culture area. Culture area, this part is related to the unit 6 anthropological theories. See, here I am mentioning this point. You just need to highlight the point about which you are not having any knowledge. And then tomorrow when we are going to have the mentorship call, so through that call I am going to explain you everything. Okay. So in this part, in the value addition part, we are going to mention about culture. We are going to talk about culture area. We are going to talk about the cultural shock, cultural lag, these points. Fine. So that's how we are done with the culture part. In the last, if you have space, write down the conclusion. So we should have a conclusion also ready in our hand so that we can mention it later on. Okay. Next part is about the civilization. So in the next part again, we should have introduction for the civilization. We should have the basic meaning of civilization. and we should have a basic definition for the civilization. For the definition part, like we should have around 4 definition of the civilization, and among those 4 definition we are supposed to like remember the definition given by the William Ogburn and the Nimco, so we can remember it. If you wanted to remember another one, you can write down here the name of that particular definition. So here writing the definition, like we are having 4 definition and we are mentioning about here the name of William Ogburn and Nimco. Okay, so the next part related to this civilization is going to be the component of civilization. How the civilization, it is basically being defined. Like, do we have the physical component or do we have the technological component? What are the approaches to study those civilization? So the first part is going to be component of civilization, and we are having 2 components. So writing down here components, and we are having 2 components. Done with the component, next part we are having approaches, how we can study the socio-cultural civilization part, how the one civilization is different from the other civilization. So here mentioning about approaches to study. Next part, that is approaches to study the civilization. Next part that we have to mention about is, like, we are having different approach. We are having utilitarian approach, we are having historical approach, we are having anthropological approach. This is what we are having. So we can mention here that we need to do 4 approaches for the same. Next part that we have to mention here is relationship between culture and civilization. After the relation between the culture and civilization, we basically need to do the similarities and the differences, and at last we need to do the conclusion. Okay, this is what we are related to the civilization part. Done? Okay, next that we need to do the ethnocentrism, and in ethnocentrism again the same approach. We need to have first basic introduction, after the introduction the meaning, the definition, once we are done with the basic meaning of the ethnocentrism, next part is roots of ethnocentrism. So there are 3 roots of ethnocentrism. One, we are talking about that ethnocentrism is negative. One, it is extreme negative, and one, it is positive. Why it is positive? Because being ethnocentric means you are having a, a kind of not blind but a kind of a deep faith in your religion. So that's how we can say that the roots of ethnocentrism. This is what we can have related to this part. Fine. Now, when we are talking about the roots of ethnocentrism, then we can understand why it is being there in the society. I mean, what are the causes for being very much ethnocentric? Maybe upbringing, maybe surrounding. There are so many reasons behind it. Like, for example, sometime your birth, sometime more loyalty, sometime your social identity, they could be the reason for the same. So here we are writing like we are basically mentioning the in terms of the causes of ethnocentrism. Okay, so you about to write 3 to 4 causes for being ethnocentric. Fine. Now next part is in terms of effect of ethnocentrism. Like ethnocentrism it would be affecting the society positively or negatively. Somehow you would say, ma'am, mostly it is affecting negatively. Yes, I do admit. But somewhere it is also affecting positively also. Because when the people, they started restoring the faith in their own cultural thing, earlier they were giving up due to the westernization, now they are getting aware about it. So we cannot consider it completely negative, as we are taking positive ethnocentrism also. So here in the next part we are about to mention the effect of the ethnocentrism. So in the effect of ethnocentrism, we should be having 7 to 8 points. So 7 to 8 points, they should be a part of it. Next part is ethnocentrism and nationalism. Like if you are very much nationalistic, and you are having a firm faith in your own nation, so we can call you ethnocentric. Fine. So this is very important and unique point, that we should have ethnocentrism and nationalism. And at last we need to have conclusion for the same. Okay, next part is related to the culture relativism. So in this part, culture relativism, first we should have the introduction, meaning, and then definition. So we should be having three basic definitions. So out of it you can remember the one which is noticed and given by the French boss. So we can mention about it. So first, introduction, meaning, then definition. So we are having four definition, but we will be remembering the one given by the French boss. Okay. Yeah, the next one is about the features of the cultural relativism, and why it is valued by the anthropologists. I mean, why the cultural relativism, it is so dearer to them. So for that we should have some point. I mean, why it is important. So, or significance of cultural relativism, it is similar to that. So first that we are going to write down here the features. So for feature we should have 4 to 5 points. So features, we should have 4 to 5 points. And after the features we should have the significance. For the significance, approx we should have 7 to 8 points. And we need to mention anthropologist also. If you are not having the material for the same, you need to have it. Okay. And the last part, that we need to determine the relationship between ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. So for relationship we should have the differences and the similarities. So we are going to write down the relationship. So the one is being defined as the similarities, and one the differences. Okay, so this is what it is being explained. And the last part that we can mention here is about the cultural relativism and the human right. This is something that is important. For this part we should have some examples also. We should have some basic example. Fine. So writing down the cultural relativism and human rights. Okay, so cultural relativism and human right, and at last we are going to write down the basic conclusion. So that's how we need to cover up the unit 2.1. Now you are not supposed to write these points, and you should not create notes again. You just need to create this index, and this index will help you for the revision. Keep this index, then start doing it. Introduction. If you are not having introduction, go through back to your sources, read it, frame it, highlight there, and then remember it. Then next, meaning. Again, determine the para, do that meaning, highlight it, and then again one more thing what you can do here, with a different color pen you can also mention the page number from where you will complete it. Fine. So this is what we are having related to the index. That's how okay, so that's how we are going to do. Now in terms of a value addition, I'm going to include everything in format of a table. So here, related to the culture part, as I'm saying, I'm also covering the unit 6 simultaneously here in terms of a value addition, because you are not the one who need explanation for each and every part. So what I did is I basically clubbed everything together in these two tables, and this is basically in terms of a value addition. Further on, I will be telling you some basic after this I'm going to tell you some basic case studies also, but this is what you need to cover up. Okay, yes. So here we are going to talk about the major anthropologists, because this is something that you need to remember. So the first one that you know very well, a very prominent personality is also, so remember his name, E.B. Taylor. And if you are not able to remember the name of any other anthropologist, but still you wanted to mention someone, so mention him. He was basically the one who mentioned about so many things. Okay. So the first one is E.B. Taylor. Mention their year also, but again I would ask you, do not give stress to your mind to remember his date. Another thing, their birth date is controversial also. Somewhere in some like Amber and Amber, the time period that is available is 1948 also. So don't be, I mean, you don't need to be so much specific, and no one is going to ask you, ki tell me in which year he was there, like that. Okay. So E.B. Taylor, his book name Primitive Culture. But remember the year of primitive culture. Okay, Samiksha, so you cannot skip that. Fine. So you need to remember. So you can skip this, but not this. Fine. This is their book name. If we are not having the referred book, see, you will find out some anthropologist here whose book name I'm not mentioning, because related to that unit, he was not explaining it. Okay, fine. So E.B. Taylor in his book Primitive Culture, he gave main ideas about what about culture. In this book, he mentioned that culture is something which is learned. Culture is not something which is inherited. I mean, you are saying here, you can use this in terms of features, in terms of function, in terms of qualities, in terms of attributes of culture, and you can also use his name in the enculturation process. Fine. So again, I'm repeating here. You can mention what? You can use this part in the unit 2.1. First in the features part, second in the functions part, third in the attributes qualities, and fourth in the culture process, where we are mentioning enculturation. Okay, where he mentioned culture is learned, it is not inherited. Like for example, if you are living in India, you will be speaking Hindi. If you are living in the Japan, you are going to speak Japanese. If you are living in another, like in different areas, you are going to speak different language. And language, again I'm saying unit 7, culture, language and communication. Language is something which is learned, it is not something which is inherited, and this is what said by not you, not me, it is being said by the E.B. Taylor. Now he said every society has culture. We can mention this in the unit 2.1. He said culture is a complex whole. Yes. When we are going to talk about the culture ka structure, if someone is asking you configuration of culture, where you have to explain the culture configuration, you can mention E.B. Taylor. That's how you need to revise this table. I mean, everything which is written here, not these year, but other than this, everything written in this table, that should be on your tips. If that is on your tips, you can replicate the same in your answers. Fine. French Bose, he mentioned the book The Mind of Primitive Men, and in that book he mentioned the primitive mind, like he was mentioning about the mind of primitive person, primitive men. So where he mentioned that every culture, they has their own unique history. It sounds something like culture relativism. Yes, so you can mention here the culture relativism, and you can mention his name and the name of his book in this particular part. Okay. Now he said that culture cannot be ranked superior, inferior. Again, sounds something like culture relativism. He mentioned rejected, like he basically rejected the unilinear evolution. For sure he is going to do the same. So can I mention his explanation as in the criticism of the first theory of anthropological of unit 6 anthropological theory? Anji, one more thing, tell me, is it completely visible to you? Like, can you read whatever is written on the board? Yes, 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 it is visible. Okay. So next, culture relativism, understand a culture in its own context. This is what he had given. So for the culture relativism part, and as a criticism of the first theory, that is the classical evolutionism of the culture, there you can mention his name as in the criticism. See, that's why I am saying it is very, very much important that you are going to remember this table, because if it is on your tips, you can use it anywhere. If you are blank in somewhere, like in some questions, you can mention them. Fine. Okay. Now in terms of example, what we can understand is, for example, in the America, they consider the concept of arranged marriage is something that is against the humanity, because they were saying that you are forcing two persons to live together even if they don't know each other, even if they don't like each other. This is what they are talking about. Whereas, let us suppose, like for example, in the America, they used to keep their child in the separate and in the separate cribs. Whereas in India, the like perfect, we can say, or the one and only place for them is the lap of their mother. Okay, so let us suppose if any mother is not keeping the, like is not sleeping with their child in the early ages, the people in the India, they would say that the mother is so cruel, the mother is not taking care of their child. Whereas this type of way is the only thing that is being performed in the America. In the same way, there was one Mrs. Chakravarti, there was one movie where that lady, she was basically fighting a case to get their babies, and in the western countries. And what's the reason behind there is that, like in India, basically beating a child for small thing is very common, whereas it is not common in the foreign countries. So that's how we can understand that each and every country, they have their own aspect of living. So this is what we analyze. Now third anthropologist, B. Malinowski. So B. Malinowski you will find out everywhere. Now you need to understand, B. Malinowski was someone who talked about the functional aspect. So everywhere you will find out the function wala thing, be it the function of culture, the function of marriage, the function of family, function of kinship. Everywhere you can mention him without any second thought, just mention him. He basically gave the book name Argonauts of the Western Pacific in the year 1922. Year need to remember, where he mentioned about, again I told you na, he mentioned about some needs. So for that we need to remember his definition. So he said cultures satisfy the human need, and there are 7 basic needs: the need of nutrition, reproduction, bodily comfort, safety, movement, growth, and health. These are the things that we require. And for that, for example, function, like family is performing some function for us. Why people are maintaining the family? Because they wanted to be part of a bond called as the marriage. So marriage and family, they are doing their work one by one. Okay, so side by side. So this is what we can quote. Fine. Next part is the fourth one, A.R. Radcliffe Brown. So Radcliffe Brown, he mentioned the book Structure and Functioning in Primitive Society. Again, he was talking about the primitive society. He mentioned about the structural functionalism, that is also again a unit, like a part of the unit 6 anthropological theories. Okay. There he mentioned about that culture, they used to help us to maintain the social structure. I mean, what kind of social structure we are supposed to maintain? Here, try to understand. Culture is something that is maintaining a social structure, means we are supposed to learn the things from our parents, and that is enculturation, and that is something which is maintaining the social structure. Okay, now for example, we are talking about what? We are talking about the digital payments. So the digital payment in India, it is again a part of the structural functionalism. Means now we all are doing digital payment. It's basically a simple function, but how it introduced in India is a part of a structural background. Means first we have to ensure like how government adopted the same. First, government said that we are going to open the zero balance account, that is Jan Dhan Yojana, because earlier people they were saying that bank में अगर पैसा चला जाएगा तो block हो जाएगा, because they need to maintain the minimum balance. So that's why the poor people and major chunk of India, they were not part of the banking sector. Now let me tell you one more thing. Multidimensional poverty index. In that index, out of the 12 indicator, we are having one more indicator, that is bank accounts, like if we are opening the, like the person is having the bank account or not. Okay, I hope you are aware of this. So how that part of structural functionalism? First, what government did is government opened the zero maintain account, zero balance account, Jan Dhan. Second, what government did is government, they introduced the demonetization, where the people they basically said that like discourages them to like keep the cash or to shift over the online payment method. Did so much of the marketing and advertisement. So that's how structurally it is being performed. They said that culture is transmitted, means from one sort of people, like the people who were in the business, they were merely dependent upon the bank accounts. Now that type of habit is being transmitted. Now the people, they started using the card, the credit card, the debit card, fine. And that's how in the next phase, digital payment is being adopted. So that's how we can say culture is adaptive. So in the same way, A.R. Radcliffe Brown, he was not giving the example of digital payment. Kindly try to understand. This digital payment example I am giving. So here we can mention digital payment system. Here we are mentioning about digital payment system. I hope you can understand. Okay. Now next question is given by the Ralph Linton. So the Ralph Linton, he basically mentioned the book The Cultural Background of the Personality. I mean, he was mentioning about the cultural background of the personality, where he said that culture is something which is learned, culture is something which is shared, culture is something which is transmitted from generation to generation. It is dynamic, it is adaptive. Here what kind of example we can understand? A simple basic example, language, values, custom. But other than this, we can understand that the explanation given by the Ralph Linton, it is similar in today's scenario. And how it is similar in today's scenario? Because you all are aware of the COVID-19 wala time period. So what kind of change COVID-19 introduced to us? Just tell me. In today's time period, mask wearing, it is being considered common. It is being considered common. Now, for example, if someone is having a fever, or someone is sneezing or coughing, and they are going to the public place, now we feel it so embarrassing, if they are sneezing in front of us. And sometimes maybe you must have said that आपने mask क्यों नहीं पहना, because now it is a kind of a common habit and we all learned it. And now it's part of our culture that if someone is having fear or someone is having any communicable disease, then they should wear the mask. So what you can say, culture is adaptive? For sure it is adaptive. Earlier the behavior for a diseased person was different. Now behavior for a diseased person is different. So this is what you can understand. Now next part is Herskovit. So Herskovit in his book Man and His Work, he said very beautiful thing and we can use it. Culture is a man-made environment. You can use it? Yes. Remember I told here this point, culture is unique to human. Can you use his reference? Yes, for sure. Culture is man-made environment. That's why it is unique to human. And that's how you can mention him. See, again I'm saying you just need to thoroughly revise this table. And if you are done with it, not only this unit culture, unit 6, unit 7, they are completely done. Okay, fine. Next part is, he was also saying that culture is the man-made part of environment. Like so many things that we created, you would notice. Okay, just quickly tell me the different types of temple architecture. Just tell me. Anji, tell me fast. Okay, very good. You are saying Nagara, Dravida and Vesra. Okay, very good. Now, each and every temple architecture is different. If I would ask you, just tell me the difference between the Nagara style of architecture and the dome structure of making the mosque. Is it similar or is it different? For sure it is different. It means what? The differences between one culture to another culture is being created by the human, and that's why it is a man-made environment. Next part is Ruth Benedict. So Ruth Benedict mentioned about the book Pattern of Culture, and in this part, Pattern of Culture, this reference you can basically refer related to the unit 6 also, the culture pattern, and this we can use in the unit 7 also. Fine. So she's basically mentioning that every culture they develop a unique personality. Remember, pattern of culture, two types of personalities, where we are saying that some are having the Apollonian features and some are having the Dionysian features. So this is what we can mention about her book. And here in terms of example, we can mention that Japanese and American culture, they encourage different behavioral pattern. Next is Margaret Mead, and she mentioned in her book Coming in the Age of Samoa, she said that the personalities of being part of one culture is different from the other. As she mentioned that the people who were living in this particular tribes, they were more open for the reproductive changes, and it was comfortable for them. Comparatively, she was saying that in the urban areas, the transition of being neutral to the reproductive age changes, it is different. Fine. Okay. Next, in terms of example that we can take adolescent behavior differences across the culture. Like in India also, in so many of the tribes, people like in the Assam and in some other tribes in the Jharkhand, in some areas there are the girls who are being considered as untouchable during that menstruation cycle, whereas there are some areas like especially in the Assam where the people used to celebrate the first menstrual cycle or the menstruation. Fine. So this is what like basically minarch. Now these all anthropologists, they are related to the paper 1. Again I'm saying, although it is more, but try to understand, these are the only anthropologists. Some you can find out something new, But these are the only anthropologies that you have to do again and again. Fine, okay. So the first part is the Leslie White. So the first part is the Leslie White. Remember, we have to mention the Leslie White somewhere. Remember, culture is unique to human. Now let's try to create the. He gave the book The Science of Culture, where he mentioned that culture evolved through the increasing control over the energy. And technology is the key driver of cultural development. Like industrial societies, they use more energy than the hunting societies. Not physical, but mental. So there is a transition of the energy, and this transition of energy is telling us that we are more intelligent, we are more skillful, and we are more capable because we are the men. Next, Julian Stewart. So Julian Stewart, through the book Theory of Culture Change, mentioned about environment influence the culture, where she was talking about the culture ecology model. That's part of the unit 6. So this is what we can mention here. Desert communities, they develop the water conservation practices. As in the same way, Claude Levi-Strauss mentioned about the elementary structure of kinship. So in the book Elementary Structure of Kinship, again we are going to use it for the unit 2.5. So in that particular part, he mentioned about the human mind work through the binary opposition. So this binary opposition means what? Either 0 or 1. I mean, what is the language of the computer? Either will accept the 0 or the 1. And they are having a code 0 and 1 for each and every symbol, for each and every numerical, for everything. In the same way, he said that our mind is working in the same way. Either, like, we are having only two choices. Either you will do it, either you won't do it. Either you will understand it, either you will follow it, either you won't follow it. So that's why he was saying that it working in the binary opposition. If the people, they like something, they will do it. If they are not liking it, they won't do it. Means liking, doing, following. And if you are liking something, you are doing, you are following, it means that's part of your culture. This is what he said. And this is the Claude Levi-Strauss basically mentioned about it. And he said there is a binary opposition, nature versus culture, male versus female, raw versus cooked. So this binary opposition of choosing between two things, it would always be there. Fine. Next is Clifford Gerst. He mentioned the book Interpretation of Culture, where he mentioned that culture is nothing but it is a system of symbols and meanings. And he gave the concept of thick description. And this is basically part of your unit 6. So you need to remember that particular thick description part. Fine. He mentioned a wink and an eye twitch may look similar but have different cultural meaning. Like, for example, we are winking. That's a kind of, we can consider the normal process, but there are something which seems to be notorious, that is basically eye twitch. So it seems to be similar, but the meaning for every single thing is different. So that's what you need to understand. Okay, I hope you can understand it completely. Fine. Next part is A.L. Kroeber. So A.L. Kroeber, through the book The Nature of Culture. So A.L. Kroeber, through the book The Nature of Culture, you will find out his name everywhere. He mentioned that culture exists above individuals. He mentioned that culture means what? He mentioned culture is super organic. Why he's saying that culture is super organic? Because over a period of time, culture used to spread through the other areas. And when I'm saying spread to the other areas, like, try to understand. Okay, can you tell me what's there on the 21st June? And can you tell me what's there on the 21st June? Anji, tell me what's there on the 21st June? Anji, yes or no? You know it? Other than this, Array 21st June, International Yoga Day. Okay, so on the 21st June, on the day of International Yoga Day, okay, if I'm asking you, tell me the name of any country which is associated with the yoga, what would you say? I mean, whose culture is related to the yoga, whose culture is related to be healthy through the body or through the mind through the yoga process. What would you say? Anji, what would you say? India? Okay. So India is having the culture of being healthy through the process of yoga. Now the culture of yoga is being taken to the another level, international level. 21st June, International Yoga Day. And this International Yoga Day is basically being example of the superorganic view of culture. Because through the superorganic view of culture, we are introducing our part to the world. Means our culture is taking another level. Fine. So this is what we used to explain. Okay. Now next part is the word good enough. So word good enough, he mentioned the book Cooperation in the Change. So he mentioned that culture consists of knowledge people need to function in the society. He good enough, you can remember his name, Cooperation in the Change. He mentioned that when you know so many languages, you are very near to their culture. Like for example, when the B. Malinowski, he was very much like wanted to be part of the Trobriand island, and he was very curious about them. So what like he was trying to connect with them, he was not able to. Then what he did, he tried to learn the language of the nearby areas so that he can make connection with them. And this is the result, that he spent so much of like year of his life in their area, and that he got to know about the different views about them, formal also, informal also. Like he got the views about incest taboo, or incestuous relationship. Like the old age person, they said that we in our society not having the incestuous relationship, but in the informal conversation to the local people, the young people, he found that incestuous relationship, although not seems to be part of their society, but they all are involved in the same. So that's what you can understand, that language is the first thing that could help you to be cooperative, to be part, or to get some sort of penetration in their society. Fine. Next part is given by the Emily Durkheim. So Emily Durkheim, through the book The Division of the Labor in Society, mentioned about the social solidarity. Emily Durkheim related to the unit 5 also, the religion, in which mention about the national symbols and the rituals. Okay. Next part is about the Talcott Parson. So the Talcott Parson, through the book The Social System, mentioned that culture provide the norms and the value, and it help us to guide the social action. Another thing, he mentioned that culture, they act as a regulatory system. Why regulatory? See, culture is telling us, for example, like if I'm talking about the Hindu culture, so in the Hindu culture, eating beef is not permitted. Now, you may like the beef, but you won't eat it because it is not being permitted in your culture. So can I say your culture norms, they are regulatory? Can I say your culture norms, they are having a regulatory behavior upon you? Now, for example, your family is not letting you to eat it. For example, your family is not letting you to eat the beef. Later on, you internalize this. Even if you are going out, even if, like for example, Rishi Sunak, if you are aware of him, there was news. See, I am not providing the validation of those news, but there are some newses, like he was having Indian origin, if you all are aware of, and he used to do puja also, and the Indians. So being there in the foreign country, being there so much of availability of such type of food, he was not eating beef. Beef is not part of his diet. So that's how you can understand. No one is there to check him. He basically earlier having the complete life out of India, he was having ample number of choices, but he was not eating it. So who's regulating his behavior? It is the culture. So in the function of culture, we can mention it. In the culture process, we can mention it. Fine. So this is what we are having related to this part. I hope you can understand it completely. Anji, having any doubt from this part? Yes or no? Okay. So after that, we are going to do some basic case studies. So in terms of the case studies, we are basically going to do some sort of examples only. So the first example that we can relate it to the culture and the characteristics of culture, that in today's time period, we are started having some AI generated cultures. When I'm saying AI generated culture, means I'm talking about the social media. I'm talking about the influence which is not real but which related to the fantasy based life or something. Okay. Now, second thing, that in terms of the culture, like how it is impacting, like what kind of example we can say, that culture they used to transmit it from one area to another area. And the best example that I can mention about is the Korean culture. Okay, see, Korean culture is related to the some sort of Korean culture is related to the some sort of serials or some serial some social drama or something like that. Okay, so it impacted the society so much. Okay, let me tell you, there was a recent case. You all would be aware of this Korean culture, or we can say the Korean wave. So there it is being said that the male of the Korea or the male person of Korea, they actually know how to behave better or how to give a better and good kind of treatment to the women. This is what that we basically having the fantasy, and this is what we generated through the Korean drama. Okay, and it engraved and it affected so much of the women who are following the same Korean drama. Okay, now let me tell you how. So what happened is, recently there was one suicide case, and in that particular suicide case, so I'm not going to take the name of the person. So there was a Bangalore techie who basically did suicide, and the reason, one of the reason he cited is that his wife was not happy with him. His wife was having so many expectations. He said that my wife used to watch so much of the Korean drama, and she used to expect me to behave like the Korean boys or Korean husbands who used to take care of so many things of their wife, who used to treat them special, who used to do so many special things for them, these and that. And he said that because I'm not able to do the same, because I was not as per her expectation, that's why she used to get annoyed with me, and this annoyance at 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, that's how it used to enlarge. So this Korean wave transmitted from one area to another, and it impacted them negatively. Means it impacted the Indian culture negatively. Earlier, like I'm not saying that patriarchy should be there, but in the Indian culture, it is being basically taught that male should be having the upper hand than the women. I'm not supporting the same. But what I'm saying is, in today's time period, the women, like the social media, it positions like that women, they deserve the special treatment. I know this deserve the special treatment, but I hope you can understand, means expectations and behavior, something like that. Fine. Okay. So the Korean culture, the K wave, This is something transmitted from one area to another area, and it impacted them so much. Okay, fine. Now, next part that you can understand is in terms of super organic view. In terms of super organic view, you can understand the Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela. See, when I'm saying Mela, so it seems to be something which is related to the rural area. The Kumbh Mela, it was basically being celebrated, being participated by so many of the people from different countries, from different region, and this is what we can say culture is transmitted. Means culture is transmitted from one area to the another area. Another example that we can basically take upon is smartphone. Like remember, okay, now you are going to tell me who basically explained about the material culture, non-material culture. I mean, if you have to name one person, tell me who mentioned about the material culture and non-material culture. And tell me the name of that person. And you remember the name? That was William Ogburn, related to the cultural leg. Remember? So in that particular example, the third one, cultural leg. We can write down the example of smartphone. Smartphone is a part of material culture. And through the smartphone, we are having the AI generated culture, that is the non-material culture. Okay, so we can write down the smartphone. We can write down the smartphone. The next example that we can quote is related to the culture trait, the cultural complex, and the culture pattern. It's part of the culture pattern itself. So let us suppose when I'm talking about trait means a basic feature. So when for example, today is the Thursday. No, it was not Malinowski. Material culture, non-material culture. It was given by the William Ogburn. Okay, yeah. So when I'm talking about the cultural traits, let us suppose I'm saying haldi. So haldi, it is being part of the Indian food diet. It is also considered as antiseptic, and it is also having some religious mythological significance. So cultural trait would be applying the turmeric haldi tika. Today is Thursday. Many of the people, they used to apply the haldi tika. Then there is a cultural complex, means that haldi is being part of a process. Part of a process means, can you give me the example? In the India, during the Indian weddings, people, they used to apply the haldi. There is a haldi ceremony, means there is a place of haldi, and that is auspicious place. Fine. Culture pattern means what? In the Hindu culture, there is one thing which is called as Haath Pile Karna, and it is symbolic also, and it is having a meaning also, where the father, through that process, sharing the complete responsibility, shifting the complete responsibility of the girl to the another man, to their husband. So that's how you can understand clearly that culture pattern is something which is being taken large picture, that is basically part of the institution of marriage. So that's how in this part we can mention in the culture trait, culture process, and culture pattern. Okay, so this is what you can understand related to this part. Now next example that we are having related to the cultural lag, we are also having the example related to the enculturation, acculturation, assimilations. Like for example, acculturation. In the acculturation, we are having a 4 stages. I told you the assimilation, marginalization. So when I am talking about the assimilation, that is part of acculturation. So when I'm saying assimilation and acculturation, here we can basically give the example of Parsis in India. So the Parsis in India, they basically adopted the Indian dress code. They also adopted the Indian language, but they retained their religion, but they retained their religious practices. Fine. So here we can mention adopted the language plus clothing system, but retained like Parsis in India, they adopted the language and their clothing system, but they retained their religion. This is what we can mention. Another example could be the related to the ethnocentrism or culture relativism. It could be related to the civilization and the culture. Like for example, when I'm talking about the Japan, so Japan, they are the one who's running the bullet train. They are the one who's the most automated, but they are also having small cultural things, like they are not living their cultural aspect, their traditional culture aspect. Like they are having the tea ceremony, so tea ceremony, that is part of their culture. So they, like for example, in like earlier in India, people, they used to greet the others while like those who are elder, while touching their feet. They were doing like that. But in the, yeah, like nowadays we are living those practices. Now we are not doing the same. But in the like if you would say in the Japan, the Japanese people, they used to bow down. They are having a bowing tradition. Although they are the most technological country, but still they are having their cultural things. So that's how we can say culture is unique to human being, man-made environment, and it would be here if it is retained by the human being. Fine. So here we can write down the Japanese culture. Fine. So this is what you can take in terms of example. Okay. Now, next part is related to the basic some sort of thing that you can also use in terms of example. So Culture Ministry, they basically launch upgraded version of Indian Culture Portal at Kartavya Bhavan. So what it would help? This portal, it would help us to aware the society about the cultural aspect, aware the society about the different cultural thing. So here we can mention practices helping to retain culture. Means what it is doing, it is helping them to retain the cultural aspect, it is helping them to maintain the culture. So Culture Ministry, they launched the upgraded version of their portal. Through the portal, we will get, like what kind of things we will get? The portal provides access to a vast collection of resources, including the manuscript, museum collection, archival records, rare books, paintings, audio-visual materials. That's how you can understand we can keep our culture revived. Why culture is unique to human being? You can give this example. Okay. In the culture process also, when we are talking about the culture being transmitted and culture is having the own identity, when talking about the culture trait, culture complex, we can give this example. Okay, fine. Next, UNESCO poster or illustration competition winner. So UNESCO, again, two basically keep the people like the UNESCO Kathmandu office, they basically organized one like we can say a kind of a competition or something where the mountainous region of Nepal, we can say that their culture is being depicted in their picture format, and that's how it is helping them to maintain it. Fine. So here you can understand the mountain region of the Nepal, they are at the front line of the environmental changes. It is posing a direct threat to the living heritage of indigenous communities. It is helping them to know about the climate change. So again, as we are saying culture is learned. So when we are saying that culture is learned, it is learned from one generation to the another generation. Okay. Fine. So you can write down this example under the part culture process. Under the part functions of culture, or it can also be written under the culture pattern. So where we can basically use it. I hope you can understand it. Okay, now moving forward to the next part. India Laos, the ties based on the mutual trust, long standing history of culture, religious and people to people ties. Matlab, we can understand the Laos deputy prime minister and our own foreign prime minister, they were talking about the future integration, and the future integration is going to be related to the culture. Like for example, we are basically providing them the opportunities that how the two different culture, they can be related to each other. Now, you just need to tell me one thing. This type of thing is example of transculturation, or is it part of acculturation? Okay, you are going to tell me. Anji, tell me, is it part of acculturation or is it part of transculturation? Anji, tell me fast. Anji, tell me fast. See, this is basically example of transculturation. I know you would say acculturation, ma'am, because India is the major, India is the major, having the major culture. Laos is having the minor culture. But when they are connecting with each other, they are on the same pace. India is also open to adopt something. Laos is also open to adopt something. Although Laos will adopt more because India is a major culture, but still they are not willingly coming or admitting the thing that India is major or Laos is minor. So that's how they are on the same pace. So we can say could be the example of transculturation, where one country is adopting something that they like about them and they are open to adopt, open to exchange, open to share. So this could be the example of transculturation. Very good, Samiksha. Very good. So it's example of transculturation. Fine. Next, divider or unifier. How the television shapes the culture and the society. So this example you can see. This is not in terms of example, but UPSC used to ask the questions which basically include indirect application of it. So the indirect application related to this part, where we are saying, like I had given you example case studies related to the social media. like how the social media, they are changing the culture dynamics, like Korean wave. So Korean wave is, we can say, the application of this part, because they are watching so much of the Korean drama, they are connected through the television, they are watching their serials, and that's how they are positioning the male ka role in their life. So that's how again you can say that divider or unifier, how the television shaped the culture and the society. This is what you need to know. Fine? Okay. Now that's how we are basically done with the first part. Now, specifically talking about the unit 2.2, again in the unit 2.2, we have to create the index. So here I had told you the process of creating the index, but you don't need to create it. I will be sharing the same. I will be sharing the indexes to you. You just need to read them and let me know which topics you are not aware of and which topics you are aware of. Okay, unit 2.2 is related to the society. Okay, so unit 2.2 is related to the society. In this unit, if you will see the syllabus or the thing that is being given by the UPSC, is that they are talking about the nature of the society. They are talking about the they are talking about the social group, they are talking about the social stratification. So this is what they are talking. So the first thing that we know about this is the nature of society, how we are explaining the concept of the society. Next part, they mentioned society and culture, where we have to create a relationship between the society and culture. Next part is the social institutions, social group and social stratification. That's what we have to explain it. So in this part, unit 2.2, we can explain it in the same way. So the first part is like we are explaining it in terms of the society, nature and concept. Society, nature and concept. Next part is in terms of society and culture. Okay. Next part is talking about the social institutions. I mean, we are having primary institutions, secondary institutions. Next part is social group. What kind of social group we are actually having, and the last part is social stratification. This is what given by the UPSC. So in how many parts UPSC divided them, that's how we used to determine how many boxes we are going to have. Like for example, in the unit 2.3, we are going to have other also. Okay, so here we would be writing down the social institutions. Okay, so the basic rule is going to be the same. In the society, nature and concept, you have to explain about the introduction, the meaning, again the definition, the major feature, the characteristic, the nature of the society in terms of the theories like the social contract theory, the organic theory, and this is how we are going to explain it. Fine. Next, in the society and culture, we have to explain about the basic aspect, like we have to explain about how the social contract theory and organic theory, it led to the changes like human nature, the self preservation, the society, how they determine the personalities, and on what basis it is basically being explained. I hope you can understand it. Fine. So, in the unit 2.2, now in the class itself, I am not going to prepare the same, but after the class, I will provide you, I will share a separate file for all indexes unit wise. As this session is open for all, so therefore I would be sharing the PDF in the official Telegram channel for Sunya IAS Anthropology. Okay, so the link for the same you will get into the description box. So there you will get it. Fine. So these indexes, they would help us for the revision, and they are important also for your mentorship call. Okay, so tomorrow I am going to call you. Okay, now again same thing, so that you can remember and so that you can mention related to the unit 2.2 society, and it will also have the things related to the part. Just wait for a while, just wait. Can we mute this mic for a while? Mute हो सकता है? Just wait for a while. हाँ जी, am I audible properly? Okay, so we are done with the index wala part. So now we need to complete the anthropologists and their views on the society. So that is basically first the name of the anthropologist. Remember the Radcliffe Brown? He said something about the culture. Similarly, he said something about the society. The book name related to the society is not here. Okay, so let me show you again. Okay, A.R. Radcliffe Brown, not something like that. He hasn't written book. He wrote the book Structure and Function in Primitive Society, but this book related to the culture. Specifically related to the society, he was not mentioning anything. I mean, he hasn't written any book. So it doesn't mean that these person they are not writing any book. The thing is that they are not specifically giving the book which will be providing us the ideas about the same theme or same society or same part. Okay, fine. So A.R. Radcliffe Brown, he mentioned about the main idea. He said that society is a system of the social relationship. Means society is helping us to focus on the social structure. It is helping us to know about the contribution towards maintaining the social order. Like how you can understand it? See, you need to understand society means something. We know how to connect with each other. If we are connecting with each other, we would be able to maintain a solidarity. And how that solidarity would help us? See, solidarity is something that would lead to the upcoming generations and their enculturation. Means those people, they are attached with each other, they are the one who are aware of each other, and they are the one who are having a system of social relationship. Now, what kind of example we can basically take? So A.R. Radcliffe Brown, he was basically a person who believe in the field work. So he went to the Andaman Island. So in the Andaman Island, he studied them, different societies. So when he was studying about the different society and different tribes, he found there the Andaman Islander tribes, and those tribes, they know the rituals, they know the social obligations, they were connected with each other. I mean, they were having some interconnected network of relationship. So this type of thing, it is showing that society as a system of social relationship, it is rather than merely a collection of individuals. Like for example, if there are sheep, if there is group of sheep, that is herd of sheep, they are not sharing anything, they are not having any communication, they are not having any exchange of information. So when this is the case, we would be saying them herd of sheep. But let us suppose I am talking about 5%. I won't say group of 5%. I would say family of 5%. I mean, I would say family. I hope you can understand why I am saying family. Because those people, they are sharing. They are sharing some sort of responsibilities, duties. They are having entertainment. They are responsible for each other. So those type of thing, A.R. Radcliffe Brown, he was saying that in the society, there is social solidarity. And this social solidarity he found where? In the Andaman Island. So he went to the Andaman Island and there he found. So what is the key idea about him? The key idea is society is like a living organism whose parts work together. Like for example, there is the wall clock. So the wall clock is having a structure where one circle attached with another circle like that. So that structure is working in a mechanized manner. In the same way, he said that in the society, human being, they are also working in a mechanized manner, but they are not non-living. They are the one who are specified as the living one. Okay, so that's what you would be explaining about it. Fine. Okay, next part is called as the B. Malinowski. So B. Malinowski, he basically being mentioned under his book Argonauts of the Western Pacific. He mentioned that society exists to satisfy the human need, and social institutions, they perform functions for the individual. He mentioned that every institution, they serve a purpose. Like for example, we are saying college. So college, they are solving their own purpose. School, they are solving their own purpose. The kind of studies we are getting in the school, the kind of discipline we are getting in our early ages, that is something which is unmatchable. Another thing, like the kind of freedom, liberty we are getting in the college, that is helping us to do another thing also, to engage in another thing. Like for example, you can follow your passion when you in the college, because you are having the time and you are open for the new ideas also. So the type of thing school can do, the type of thing college can do, that is completely different. In the same way, B. Malinowski, when he was studying about them, he said that family, at one point of time, they are solving the reproductive needs. On the another point, they are solving the emotional needs. On the another side, they are solving the economical needs. Like for example, who's helping you to be like for the motivation, who's basically providing you the support to be motivated? Just tell me, in your family. Most of you would say, ma'am, our mother is basically helping us and it's maintaining us for the for that preparation. They are also doing so many things. Whereas when I'm saying who's going to bear your coaching fees, and who's going to bear your preparation expenditure? So your answer would be your father. So that's how you can understand. B. Malinowski said the same. He said that every institution, they are having their different features, and each and every person, like in terms of a family, they used to do the same. Okay, so that's what you can understand related to this part. Now next part, Emily Durkheim. So Emily Durkheim, she basically gave the book name The Division of Labor in Society. Remember, the same book being mentioned in the culture part, same is being mentioned here, because in this book Emily Durkheim said something about the society also and about the culture also. So they said society is greater than individual. It is someone who's being collected together, and they are having some collected beliefs and values. They are having some independency of the thoughts, and they are being existed when so many independent people, they are being connected together, like having the collective consciousness, mechanical solidarity, organic solidarity. Means national symbol, ritual, shared beliefs, all they are being created, and they are helping us to create the unity. Like for example, when I'm saying nationalism, so one thing is not important for nationalism. One thing cannot solve your purpose. For being nationalistic, for being patriotic, we need to maintain so many things, like emotionally, like socially, like in terms of shared beliefs, norms, customs, so many things we need to do. Like we need to create a kind of culture where people, they are aware of their nature, national symbol, and they are respecting them also. Okay, next, Max Weber. And Max Weber said that society is something which is created through the meaningful social action. When we are performing the social actions, quite possible we are not having those social functions meaningful. So here, what is most important is that we should have the functions, and these functions, they should be having like a kind of deep meaning behind it. For example, when we are saying that we should donate money, so the donation of money is so that we can help the other. So donating the money may have different meaning for the different people. Like some people are doing it only for helping the other, whereas some person is doing it because it is being prescribed by their astrologer. So the belief, the reason, the cause, everything is different behind every act. So this is what Max Weber said. Means your social action would be meaningful or not, it depends. It depends upon how you are perceiving the things, how you are doing the things. Okay. So in this part, they basically provided a key concept also. Next is given by the Ferdinand Tonis. Ferdinand Tonis, he basically mentioned about two types of cities. He said there is one type of city called as village. He said there is another type of city called metropolitan city. When he was comparing these two cities, he found that their way of living, way of perceiving, or way of channelizing in the future, or way of transmitting it into the future is completely different. He said that in the village area, people still connected to their roots, still following the traditional culture, and the things are more or less similar. Whereas in the metropolitan cities, there may be different routine for same set of people. But in a rural area, more or less, all the people, they must be behaving in the same way. All the people, they must be behaving in the same like structure. So here the Ferdinand Tonis, when he was explaining about it, he mentioned that traditional society is called as Gemeinschaft. Otherwise, he said that modern society is called as Gesellschaft. So he used these two terms. He said traditional society, they must be having more personal relationship, connected with each other. All are doing the same thing, like male going to the agriculture field, like female, they were doing some milk based work, some like they are making the curd, they are making the ghee, such kind of thing. So that is completely different. Whereas in the modern societies, people who are living in the high rise societies, they all are very much like central to each other. Central, when I'm saying central, means what? They are not very much communicative. They are not sharing the things. Fine. Next is the Robert Redfield. So the Robert Redfield, basically said that the societies exist on a continuum from. Continuum means folk society, urban society. Although this one is related to the paper too, but who said that we cannot use the concept given by them in the socio-cultural anthropology? Because in the socio-cultural anthropology, we are including everything and at one place. So there we can basically take their example, so we can write it down. Fine. Okay. Now next is okay. Next is the case studies that we can take related to this part. Samiksha is saying, ma'am, these ideas, they can be used as characteristics also. Yes, their ideas can be used as characteristics. If there is something asking about the society and you need to write down their characteristics, you can mention it. Fine. Okay. Now let's talk about the case studies or any such example as if we can mention. So writing down the case studies. Okay. So the first case study we can mention about the Andaman Island, and the Andaman Island that is being studied by the Radcliffe Brown. So we can mention about the Andaman Island. Fine. So we can mention about the Andaman Island. So Andaman Island. So among the Andaman Island, he basically said that these people, they are having so much of the social solidarity, because these people, they are sharing the belief systems, sharing the norms, and they are having some social obligations. So that's how we can mention that it is related to social solidarity. Okay, next part. Next part is something that is given by the B. Malinowski. So B. Malinowski, when he went to the Trobriand Island, he found that these people, as a because they wanted to be part of the society, therefore they just wanted to be connected with each other, and how they were ensuring it, like how they were able to connect with each other. So basically, what they did is, uh, he he said that the people, they were part of the Kula ring. So Kula ring, it is a part of a, in the modern time we are having a kitty parties. So in the kitty parties, we just wanted to be a part of a group, and even if we can't afford, still we wanted to be recognition in the society and we wanted to be part of it. So that's how the people, they are sharing the things, they are maintaining the things. I mean, something like that. So from this point of view, he said that society, it exists because it fulfills the human need, and in terms of a function, in terms of characteristics of the society, in terms of society and culture, and in social institutions where we are mentioning about the family, there we can mention that society is here, it exists. Why? Because it fulfills the human need. So we need to mention the Trobriand Island, and there you need to mention society meets individual needs. Okay, and this was the example of the Kula ring that he found. Next example that was being taken by the Emile Durkheim, and that was related to the Australian Aboriginal totemism. So he basically took that. So he mentioned that society, it exists above the individual. Like What Trobriand Island and the B. Malinowski said, that society exists because individual need it, but Emily Durkheim said society, it exists above individual. Means it is the nature of the society that the people, they are having a collective consciousness, and because of that collective consciousness, they are tend to do the things, even if it is acceptable, even if it is not acceptable. Fine. So this is what we can do. Like for example, you can understand that we are having different faith. Like some days back, there was one video surfacing over the internet where the people of one particular area, during a particular during some particular functions, they need to walk over the burned coal, and they need to carry their wife in their arms, and they need to walk, and that is basically ensuring their longevity of their relationship or something like that. So can you imagine, is it having any sort of relation? Is it going to provide you any sort of help? No, not at all. So that's how you can basically understand that, I mean, in the normal terms, you can basically understand that the Australian tribe studied by the Emily Durkheim also related to the religion. So it basically mentioned about, like Emily Durkheim, when she was mentioning about it, that society exists beyond individual, and we can use it in the topic nature of society. Society exists beyond individuals. And if this is the case, then we are basically talking about that the people in the society, they are having a kind of collective consciousness. Fine. And for this, she basically referred about the totemism and collective consciousness. Okay, fine. Next part is being provided by the Evans Bridger, and this case study is related to the Nur of Sudan. So the Nur of Sudan, they are not having any centralized government. So how their society is being maintained? So their society, it demonstrates that political organization, like the unit 4, it shows that political organization, they are not the only thing that is being maintained over a period of time. I mean, it is saying that this is not the only thing which is maintained over a period of time. uh, any society can exist without a particular state being there. Fine. So here, mentioning about Nur of Sudan, and it is being provided by Evans Bridger. And then in case of the Nur of Sudan, it basically mentioned that society can exist without centralized government, and reference we are also going to provide for political organization. So society can exist without centralized government. Okay. Next part is in terms of the kinship. So kinship is backbone of the society or not? So this is being studied by the Mayor Ford. So he studied about the Talenshi tribe. So when he was studying about the Talenshi tribe, he mentioned that political authority. So we can also basically said that political authority and economic relationship, they were organized through the kinship. Okay, I mean, when we are saying that they kinship is the one which create the social order, we would be true to our side, because social organization, they are the one which is something that is dependent upon the norms of the society. Like for example, just see Talensi tribe. Okay, let me first write down Talensi tribe. And it's being studied about the Mayor Fort. Okay, so Talensi tribe, that is basically being studied by the Mayor Fort. So his like this tribe, it is being found in the Africa. So near to the Ghana, if you can imagine the Africa's map, and if you can pinpoint there the Ghana. So in that area, this tribe is basically being found. So he said that like for quite some years, he basically worked among them, and he found that these people, they are having a kinship system, and this kinship system is based upon lineage. So I hope you are aware of. See, you are aware of the term lineage. How lineage is being specified? Lineage is a term which is explaining the hereditary kinship structure. In the lineage, each and every chain is connected with one person, and if one person is missing out of chain, the complete chain will broken. So lineage means hereditary kinship system. Fine. So Talenchi, that is basically an ethnic group, and this group is living in the Ghana. So they are having some sort of African lineage based society. So he found that lineage based society is something which is unilineal. So in the kinship wala part, unit 2.5, I am telling you here only. So see, I basically provided the complete explanation. Other than this, you don't need to read anything else as in terms of value enrichment. You can just use these examples. And if these are on your tips, you can use it for unit 2.5. Like this tendency drive, you need to use it for unit 2.5 or also for the unit 4, political anthropology. Okay, fine. So unilinear descent and lineage. That is what we noticed for the Talensi tribe. So they are having a descent trace through the father. I mean, it's going to be patriarchal. Like for example, try to understand. If any one chain is broken, complete lineage system is going to end. So that's how they used to have this hereditary system. He said that this Talensi tribe, they are maintaining their society through the lineage system only. And this lineage system is becoming a balance for them to maintain the kinship as well as the political system. Now when I'm talking about the kinship, so they are having a unilinear descent based kinship system. So they are saying that because the hereditary, like as I have shown you these circles, they said that if this is unilinear, so it would be lineage or a line in terms of a father or patriarchal hereditary system. So father would be the head, and here I would mention the father. So because I am mentioning the father, it means the lineage would be here and it would work based upon the male person only. Means male line would be here in case of the property transfer. So property is being transferred, inherited by the male only. And who can get the membership of this lineage? Birth So by birth, you will be part of this inherited system. So this is what he found, this unilinear descent system he found there. Now, he said that although these people, they are connected with each other, but here try to understand. Let us suppose this person, he was having 2, 3, 4 sons. So what he is supposed to do? He is holding some land, he is going to transfer the land to them. That's how we can consider that there is not individual right, inherited right. They are basically saying that there is like lineage based collective ownership. So there is collective ownership. So among this part, we can say that they are having a cooperative lineage. Rituals are performed collectively. Lineage is also having over each other collectively. These people, they are connected to the lineage system. Therefore, they are basically celebrating the festivals. They are worshipping collectively. So this is what we can relate it to this part. And their family system, if you would ask me, I would say patriarchal system, strict patriarchal system, joint family system. And if you would ask me that if they are having a political organization, see, they don't even need the political organization. The adult one, the adult male person, the head of the family, he himself will be the centralized head. So for sure there would be a political organization, but we don't need any formal political organization. They are having their own informal political organization. So this is what you can understand related to this part. So here Mayor Forts I had written. So where he studied about it in the Ghana. These you know, like that is also in the Africa, Sudan it is being written. So here you can write down Ghana. So what they are having, we need to write down the point. First, they are having the collective. Okay, first let me write down about their, so that is inherited lineage through male line. Okay. Second, like first they are having inherited lineage through the male line. Second, if we have to explain about it, so we can mention that property is being held by the male, held by male, but they may have cooperative ownership. So within the bracket I can write down the cooperative ownership. Okay. Another thing that they are having is centralized political organization. Fine. So this is what we are having related to this part. Okay. Now, other than this, we can also write down the society and the social change that is the kind of example we can take from the paper 2. The Rampura village given by the M.N. Srinivas. We can also take the example of the area of the Mexico where the Robert Redfield, he studied about the society. So that could also be one of the example. We can also write down the example of Herbert Spencer. So let me give you those example also. I think it was 5th. Okay. So the next case study is related to the industrial Britain. So in the industrial Britain, the name of the anthropologist, it was Herbert Spencer. So we need to write down industrial Britain. Okay. And this industrial Britain is being provided by the Herbert Spencer. See, every single time we need to find out the dynamics of the society. Dynamic of the society, they are talking about how the society, like for example, we know in the cities the life is very fast, whereas in the village areas we can find out that there is a more stable life. See, I'm not comparing in terms of the qualities, I'm comparing in terms of the their work mechanism. So again, this is what you can understand also. Like you need to understand that the life of the industrial areas, like for example, as I'm talking about the Britain, so here different institutions, they perform specialized functions. Like for example, because it is industrial, so as in the industry, for each and every head we are having each and every for each and every sector we are having each and every head in the same way. In the same way, in terms of the society, we are also having the same. Later on, India adopted the parliamentary structure from the Britain. Yes, we can admit the same, but here try to understand. Bhushan is saying, ma'am, can I choose anthro optional, but my background is agriculture? Should I? Okay, so Bhushan, there is like in the description box there is number available. You can just text there your doubt. Like team will let you communicate with me, and then I will let you know. See, based upon one question, I can't answer because I don't know your state of mind, even if it is related to the agriculture or it would be better for anthropology. But anthro is a kind of a subject. It doesn't matter from which background you are coming. This anthro subject is open for all. It means the approach to do this paper, like we are basically focusing with the 5 different types, and that's how it is very much convenient. Fine. Okay, now talking about the industrial Britons, like as I was saying, the different institutions, they will perform some specialized functions. Like for example, government. So government, the parliamentary system is the one which is not as centralized. It's basically being decentralized, as well as it is not under the control. Fine. So here, next part, basically economy. So economy is again having some sort of circulation. So circulation means, like for example, economy is kind of virtuous circle. So virtuous circle, it is helping us to raise the money. Virtuous cycle, it is helping us to raise the money. Means over a period of time, you are raising the money, you are investing it, you are spending it, factories, they are getting more work, workers are working, and that's how this circle is basically being completed. Fine. So this is again you can do. Fine. So in terms of society, they said society is somehow like a mechanized structure where each and every sector is being like maintained by someone. Like for example, family here is for the reproduction. So he said society is a living organism. So we can mention here is a living organism. Okay, where each and every part is being performed by someone. Like for example, industrial Britain, family for reproduction. Fine. So this is what basically being said by them. Fine. I hope you can understand. Okay, next part is that is being performed by the L.H. Morgan. So L.H. Morgan, he went to the Iroquois community, and there he find out that their society is being transformed from simple to complex society, and that transformation from simple to complex society, it is reflecting these stages of the social evolution. Means over a period of time social evolution is here, and that is basically showing them. Okay, so let's mention about it. Iroquois community. Okay, and this is being provided by the L.H. Morgan. And according to them, like as they are mentioning that society is moving from simple to complex. Society is moving from simple to complex, and that's how society is basically moving from simple to complex society, and that is basically reflecting the stages of the social evolution. Okay, so simple to complex societies. And when it is basically showing from simple to complex society, it is basically reflecting the stages of social evolution. Fine. Okay, now moving forward in the next part. So the next part, it is basically being explained by the Robert Redfield. So Robert Redfield in the Mexico, basically in the Mexico, he did the study, and there he find out that society it exists. Why society exists? Because it is revolving around the rural area, urban area, rural area, urban area, like that. Okay, so mentioning about the Mexico community or Mexican community. Robert Redfield. See, that's how with the help of this we completed the kinship wala part also, in terms of value enrichment. We also completed the family part also. Only the marriage part would be left, that we have to complete. Other than this, I will be sharing some sort of list for other anthropologists and the basic details about them, so that you can understand it. Fine. Okay, fine. So in the Mexican community, he basically said that the society it exists, and it is like a kind of continuum between folk, means rural, or urban areas. Fine. So this is what we had related to this part, and I hope you can completely understand about it. So this is what we are talking about it, like we so many other case studies are also we are having. This is what you would be having the potlatch ceremony, and talking about how the councils used to work. Like, okay, another case study that I can also provide you about the Igbo society. So that Igbo society, it is found in the Nigeria, and they are not having any king and any centralized ruler. So they used to maintain their order, and their order is maintained through the kinship system, through the council, through the age grade system. Okay, so here mentioning about Igbo community, and this is basically being found in the Nigeria. Okay, so the Igbo community, So the Igbo community, they are basically mentioning about that there is no such kind of age grade, there is no such kinship, there is no such councils. Okay, so mentioning about it. And still their society is working. So that's how you can understand that they must be doing some kind of thing, that their society is working. Okay, next part, that you can find out that media plays a vital role in educating the society and promoting the positive changes. So this is what basically being said by our governor, and the governor is saying that the media, they are playing a very vital role in educating the society. I mean, forgetting about the controversial events, forgetting about the fake news, but to a large extent, society is being like affected from the social media, and social media is affecting it on a positive note. That's what we can understand, that's how we can relate with it. Okay, fine. So this is what you can write down, because we need to mention some views about the government also. Fine, so this is what you can understand. Now next part, the unit 2.3. See, with those part we are basically covered with the unit 6 also. By clubbing all things together in terms of value enrichment, we are done with the unit 6 also, unit 7 also, unit 4 also, and now we are heading toward, because marriage is a topic where we will be finding out different case studies and different verdict of the anthropologists. When we are talking about society, we did the family wala part also. Fine. Okay, again here, as I told you, we need to provide a kind of basic diagram which will be mentioning about different part. Okay, so approx 7 parts that we have to include under it. Approx 7 parts. Fine. So in this part, marriage, like how I am determining these parts as per the syllabus. In the syllabus itself, they are mentioning about types, they are mentioning about function, they are mentioning about forms, and they are mentioning about the basic definition of marriage, for each and every part. So everything they are mentioning is related to the unit 2.3 in the syllabus itself. As I told you, I will be sharing a separate PDF, and the separate PDF that will include basic material indexes that would help you for your revision part. Okay, fine. So now moving forward to the next part, where we have to do the basic study related to the anthropologist. So the anthropologists related to the marriage part, they are different and they are very specific also. These are the kind of books you will find out where they mentioned about it. So the first part they mentioned is like the first anthropologist we are having is Edward Westermarck. So Edward Westermarck, in his book History of Human Marriage, he provided the main idea where he mentioned that marriage is a socially approved sexual union. These are something that you have to remember. He said that marriage legitimizes the offsprings, which is again a kind of thing that help marriage to form the family, and that is legitimate family. Okay. Now, marriage is also helping marriage is legitimizing the offspring, marriage is also creating the rights and the duties. So in terms of a basic contribution, we can understand that one of the earliest scientific definition of marriage is to know about it. Okay. So it is to know about it. Like one of the earliest scientific definition of marriage that he provided, he mentioned that marriage is a kind of a socially approved sexual union. Therefore, they are mentioning that customary and legal recognition of marriage is here in many societies. And that's how we know that if marriage is being legitimized and if it is not being legitimized, then there is no point of having the rituals, having the kind of vachanas and something like that. See, in today's time period, the question you may find out related to the live-in relationship, because now people, they are not concerned about legitimacy or illegitimacy. The Supreme Court of India and even the High Court of the Madras, they basically mentioned that marriage, they basically mentioned that marriage is something which is here to provide legitimacy in the society. Then they mentioned that we cannot constrain as well as control some adult person about their choices of having their life. So that's what they said, that we cannot illegitimate the we cannot illegitimate the live-in relationship. This is what they mentioned. They are saying that they are saying that we cannot illegitimate or we cannot criminalize the live-in relationship, but they said we are not legitimating the live-in relationship. Means, let us suppose the cases of alimony, the cases of if someone is not, like, at any point of time they can break it. At any point of time they can break it. But in case of marriages, there need to be a process. So the Supreme Court, they said that we are not legitimating the live-in relationship. On the same line, we are also not criminalizing the live-in relationship. Means, if they wanted to live, they can. Fine. Okay. Next is D.N. Mazumdar and T.N. Madan. Next is D.N. Mazumdar and T.N. Madan. They also mentioned about it, although related to the Indian anthropology, but still he's part of it. So he mentioned about it. So he basically mentioned about it. Marriage is a socially sanctioned union between the male and female. Marriage means what? It is a socially sanctioned union. Yes, Vandana, you are late. It's okay. You can watch it later. Okay. See, when we are saying that marriage is here, he said that like in terms of the socially sanctioned format, we can say that marriage is having some sort of activities, and these activities, they can be controlled and they can be framed in a legal format only through a name which is specified as marriage. That's what he said, that when we are regulating the sexual behavior, means when we are controlling the choice of having different mates, that is only being controlled by marriage. They are also saying establishing a proper family. They are also mentioning that when marriage is there, it is something which is socially sanctioned union. And this is what he quoted about Indian society. So in the Indian society, they basically quoted that marriage is something which is basically being maintained. Next part by the G.P. Murdoch. So G.P. Murdoch in his book Social Structure mentioned that marriage used to fulfill 3 universal functions: sexual, economic, reproductive. And this is again, he said that quite possible all these 3 factors, they are not being followed in each type of societies. Like for example, some societies the Nur of Sudan and in case of the Nayar of Kerala, in those areas, these type of communities, they are not following the economic function. Means the one whom that girl married, they are not performing the same economic function. So that's what we can basically avoid. Now, the B. Malinowski, in his, he hadn't provided a specific book, but he gave his views about marriage. Remember, I told you he went to the Trobriand Island, and there he was, because he was aware of their language, he basically connected with in informal way with the youth, like with the youth of that area. Remember that? Okay. So, they said that marriage exists because it satisfied the human need. He said that they cannot fulfill their sexual needs through the incestuous relationship all the time. For that, they require a proper marriage system, and therefore they are satisfying their human needs through it: reproduction, child care, social stability, like that. Now, next is by A.R. Radcliffe Brown. So, A.R. Radcliffe Brown, he mentioned that marriage contributes to the maintenance of social structure. It is creating the social relationship. It is linking the kinship group. It is also maintaining the social order. So, all these things, they are basically being performed by them. Next, Claude Lévi-Strauss, in his book Elementary Structure of Kinship, again, it is related to the unit 2.5. So, he said that marriage is not mainly about reproduction. He said marriage is exchange. And in the kinship theories, he was talking about exchange only. Two types of exchange, structural and alliance. Here he was talking about structural exchange. Next is L.H. Morgan. So, L.H. Morgan said that marriage involved through the stages: promiscuity, the group marriage, the polyandry, the polygyny, the monogamy. This is he mentioned through his book, and this is part of the unit 6 also. Next is J.F. McLennan. So, he mentioned that female infanticide, they cause shortage of the women, and that's why they started having marriage by capture. Marriage by capture means what? Like if they are visiting any fair, any festival, or on the road, if they found someone who seems to be them eligible to get married, they are just going to capture them and they are going to perform the forced marriage. Why people started doing the same? Because they were not having available quantity of the women, and there was a competition also. So that's, I think, in the Bihar, if you all are aware, there is also pakadwa marriage, where the bride family used to hunt the eligible groom who's having the government job or having like so much of the money, financially they are strong. So that's what they used to do. Next is John Beckefan. So John Beckefan, he gave the book Mother Right. So in his book, he mentioned about the matriarchal theory. He mentioned that descent is something which is traced through the women. He mentioned that descent, if traced through the women, it means that maybe the matriarchal society. So he mentioned matriarchal clan are there, and he mentioned that in the early human society, if you know that in the south also there were so many rulers who used to be like Gotmi Putra Satkarni. He was being known by the name of his mother. So that's what you can understand about it. Fine. Okay. Next is about the Frederick Engels. So Frederick Engels, he mentioned about his book name, The Origin of the Family, Private Property and the State, in which he provided the main idea, where he mentioned that marriage is developed because of the private property. Means, because there was, see, he was saying that what if there is a collective property? He said that if there is a collective property, then it would be difficult for them to differentiate between their child and other's child. He said that first private property started emerging. They started thinking, oh, we should like save something for our own child, because they can create the private property. That's how they started forming the family. They started forming the because of the family, they started forming the marriage. So that's what we can basically have it. Okay, fine. So this is related to this part. Next is there is Karl Marx, Emile Durkheim, Mayer Force. Iman Spridger, Kathleen Goff, River, M.N. Srinivas, Iravati Karve, Robin Fox. M.N. Srinivas, W.H.R. River, Iravati Karve, Robin Fox, all these they are related to the Indian anthropology. But their example we can use here, and we can also write their example in terms of the features. Fine. So in this part they mention about their main ideas like marriage developed because of private property, marriage reflect economic relation, marriage promote the social solidarity like social integration and regulation, marriage is something which is crucial for kinship organization, marriage is something which help the maintaining the political and social organization. Fine. So all these things they are related. Okay, remember of Talenchi society? So this example you can also use for the marriage, because marriage is important for kinship organization. So that's how we are basically, see, if you are done with these table now that I am providing, these table they are Brahmastra for you. You just then need them in terms of example, in terms of case study in your answers, and your answers would be enriched. I mean, it should be like that, that you are having something in your hand and you are writing it down, you are mentioning it down. Okay, so this is what you can do. Fine. Okay. Now talking about the other aspects, like for example the same-sex marriage. I had earlier told you the live-in relationship. Now there is the concept same-sex marriage. So the question arises, same-sex marriage, is it legal in India? See, same-sex marriage is not legal in India. Matlab, it means if two person having the same gender, they are getting married. If they are getting married, we are not providing them recognition as a husband and wife. So because husband and wife, they are not having a blood relationship, so they are having a marriage alliance relationship, marital alliance. But the people who are having the same sex marriage, first they are not having any blood relation, second, as per the society, as per the legal things, they are also not legally connected with each other in the marital alliance. This is what you need to understand. Next, what is the timeline of LGBTQ rights in India? In 2009, Delhi High Court, they decriminalized the homosexuality. Decriminalize means what? It means that they are saying that if we find out a person having the same sex marriage or homosexuality, we are not going to charge any case against them. They are not criminal. Then Supreme Court overturned and recriminalized it in 2013. Then in 2014, NALSA judgment said that transgender as a third gender and we need to provide them fundamental rights. Then in 2017, right to privacy was there. When there is right to privacy, then Supreme Court said that we cannot interfere. We cannot completely interfere with them. Okay. Next, in the 2018, Section 377 partially struck down, and then consensual homosexual sex, it was decriminalized again. Then in 2023, there was a same-sex marriage petition where Supreme Court said that I am not going to legalize it. We cannot legalize it. So if we will legalize it, it is going to distort the structure of the society. That's how we are not going to legalize it. And in 2025, there was ongoing advocacy. There was some state level initiative that's basically being maintained. I hope you can understand it completely. Okay? Fine. Now talking about the next part for the family. So here we are mentioning about the unit 2.4. So unit 2.4, again you need to prepare like this. Index. The unit 2.4, it is also going to have 6 to 7. Okay. So for the unit 2.4, again you have to prepare like this. And that's how index would be provided. See, I will be sharing the index to you through the Telegram channel. So there you will get the indexes for the socio-cultural anthropology. Okay. Now moving forward again to the major anthropologists, the example and the case study. Here you can find out first one again given by the G.P. Murdoch, and his book was The Social Structure, where he mentioned about the main system of the family. He said that family is having some sort of functions like sexual, reproduction, economic, educational, and where you can find out his contribution in the universality of family, that particular topic. Then we have B. Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown. All these person, like again they are repeating here. I had explained you everything. Here I am just providing information. So basically I had explained already about these. B. Malinowski, he went to where? He went to the Trobriand Island. And when he went to the Trobriand Island, he basically explained there that family exists because it fulfills the basic human need. Marriage is here because it is fulfilling the basic human need. This is what he mentioned. So we can use his explanation. Here also A.R. Radcliffe Brown, Claude Lévi-Strauss, Levish Henry Morgan, Frederick Engels, Karl Marx, all these persons, they basically provided here the information. Okay, so this is what you can understand completely. I hope this session it was useful for you. If you need the PDF, I will be sharing the PDF. And you will get the PDF on the official Telegram channel. Okay, and I will be sharing there a separate file for indexes and a separate this value enriched PDF. You can use them for the enrichment, and next session is going to be on the related to the next session is going to be related to the physical anthropology, where we are going to understand about it. Those who basically enrolled for the course, this anthropology enrichment cum test series course that basically started from 1st of June, those enrolled for this course, those all the people, they will get the mentorship call tomorrow, and they will be like, we are going to share a sheet with them where we are going to analyze your performance related to the revision part and related to the in terms of the test series. So tomorrow you will have the mentorship call. Those who wanted to enroll for the course, that the course basically started from the 1st of June. The number is available in the description box. You can just text there or you can just call there. So the team would be connecting with you. And if you wanted to talk to me, or if you are having a certain doubt, again you can text there. The team will let you connect with me. If you are having any certain doubts, so you can tell me. So let me just tell you how you like the session. So give me your detail kind of like views in the comment box. Fine. So thank you so much for today.